Have you ever really stopped to think about the lights all around us? I mean, everywhere. From flipping a switch at home to, the street lights outside, the technology has just leaped forward. We went from those old, kind of power-hungry incandescent bulbs to what we see pretty much everywhere now, these advanced, super energy-efficient LEDs. Okay, let's unpack this a bit. Today, our deep dive is all about the booming global LED lamp market. Our mission really is to pull out the most important bits, the key nuggets of knowledge from this report by Cognitive Market Research. We want to give you a clear, concise understanding of where this market is right now and, importantly, where it looks like it's going. So just to set the stage, globally, this market was valued at about $62 billion, $62.112 billion to be precise, back in 2021. And get this, it's expected to jump to around $85.6 billion by 2025. And then, well, it's projected to more than double again to a pretty substantial $162.5 billion roughly by 2033. That's a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of over 8.3%. Strong growth. So we're going to sort of walk you through these numbers region by region, see what's driving it. And here's where it gets really interesting. Let's shine a light on North America first.
Yeah, North America is a fascinating starting point. It's, a mature market in many ways, but it still shows really consistent growth. Back in 2021, its LED lamp market was sitting at roughly $17.9 billion. That's billion with a B. And projections show it climbing to over $24 billion by 2025. And then heading towards almost $45 billion, $44.694 billion by 2033. That's growing at a steady CAGR of about 7.8%. It tells you something, right? It's not just about replacing old bulbs anymore. LEDs are getting integrated into, well, everything.
Okay, so that's the overall picture for North America. But what does that look like country by country? Is it like uniform growth or are there variations?
It's largely consistent, yeah, but with some interesting differences. The U.S., no surprise, leads the way. It's about $14.3 billion in 2021, expected to hit over $35 billion by 2033. So solid growth, around 7.6%. Canada, though, it's a smaller market overall, but its growth rate is actually a bit faster, almost 8.9% annually.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it suggests maybe a quicker adoption rate, perhaps driven by, new building projects or strong energy efficiency rules. And Mexico's right up there, too, over 8.3% CAGR. So it's also really picking up speed and adopting modern lighting.
Right. So a picture of pretty stable, robust expansion in North America. Okay, so then what about Europe? How does it compare? Same drivers, or is Europe on a slightly different path?
Well, Europe's LED market, while it's currently a bit smaller than North America's, is also showing very strong, steady growth. It was valued at nearly $11.8 billion in 2021, and the projection, over $29 billion by 2033. That's a CAGR of about 7.7%, so very similar to North America in terms of rate. But what's really key in Europe, I think, are those stringent environmental regulations and the big push for energy efficiency. That's really accelerating the switch to LEDs.
And within Europe, are there specific countries or maybe subregions that really jump out, either for size or maybe speed of growth?
Oh, absolutely. Germany and the UK are, the major players. Germany is projected to hit over $4.3 billion by 2033. The UK, around $3.6 billion, both showing consistent, solid growth. But France really stands out. It's projected to more than double its market to over $4.1 billion by 2033. That's an impressive 8.5% CAGR.
Wow, higher than the regional average?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It suggests perhaps really aggressive national energy targets, maybe smart city projects kicking in strongly. Then you have Italy, Russia, Spain, all showing significant growth, adding a lot to the overall European picture.
Mhm.
And interestingly, this rest of Europe category,
Yeah.
grouping smaller economies, it shows remarkable momentum, growing at over 9.2% CAGR.
That's high.
It often signals that emerging markets within the region are rapidly catching up, modernizing their infrastructure.
Okay, now, let's talk about a region that you mentioned really stands out globally. Asia Pacific, it apparently saw the largest growth overall. What on earth is driving that kind of explosive expansion?
Right. This is where you really see the scale and the impact of emerging economies. Asia Pacific, huge. Valued at nearly $24.8 billion back in 2021. Almost $25 billion. And it's projected to reach a massive $68.4 billion by 2033. That's a CAGR of almost 9%. Very robust.
Incredible numbers.
Yeah, and it's fueled primarily by, well, a few big things. Rapid urbanization, huge manufacturing centers, and significant government pushes, incentives, regulations for energy-efficient tech, especially in those giant population centers.
So who's leading the charge there, and what makes their growth so significant?
China Definitely leads the region in sheer size. Set to go past $20 billion by 2033, just reflects its vast market and manufacturing power. Japan is also a major contributor, projected to reach almost $12.8 billion. But India is showing the strongest growth rate in the region. It's set to more than triple its market size, hitting over $10.5 billion by 2033. That's a CAGR of 9.75%, nearly double digits.
Almost 10%.
Yeah, it reflects massive infrastructure development, rising incomes, and maybe leapfrogging older tech, free to LEDs, South Korea, Australia, also key players. And then you have rapid accelerators like Singapore growing over 9.5% CAGR, often driven by smart city ambitions, high-tech commercial stuff, and again, that rest of APAC category climbing steeply, almost 11% CAGR, just dynamic growth across many developing economies.
That 11% is the highest we've seen yet, isn't
For a
it?
rest of category, yes. It
Ah.
really shows broad-based growth across the region.
Okay, moving south then. South America. You flagged this one. Fascinating growth trajectory there. Highest overall regional CAGR, you said. Why is this region seemingly exploding with LED adoption?
That's right. South America is really accelerating. It went from $4.2 billion in 2021, and it's projected to more than triple, hitting over $12.5 billion by 2033. That's growing at 9.4% CAGR. Really impressive.
Highest regional rate so far.
Yep. It signals a continent really in transition. What's driving it? Mostly new infrastructure, rising energy costs making efficiency crucial, and a growing middle class investing in better solutions for homes and businesses. It's a clear shift away from older lighting.
And where's that growth focused within South America?
Brazil. It's leading the charge, projected to hit nearly $3.8 billion by 2033. Argentina is also showing strong gains, set to reach almost $1.8 billion. Colombia is heading towards $1 billion, so those are the big engines. But again, look at the rest of South America growing at nearly 9.8% CAGR. Shows it's widespread. LED tech is being embraced across many smaller but rapidly developing economies there too.
Okay, next up, the Middle East. Often known for, rapid development, big projects. What's the LED story there?
The Middle East market is definitely growing consistently, projected to reach over $5.1 billion by 2033, up from about $2.4 billion in 2021. The CAGR is around 6.8%. So solid growth, though not quite as explosive as South America or parts of Asia. It's often propelled by those ambitious urban development projects you mentioned, smart city plans, and interestingly, a real push for energy efficiency. Even in nations with traditionally abundant energy, they see the long-term benefits.
And any particular countries driving that Middle East trend?
Saudi Arabia leads, projected to hit over $1.8 billion by 2033. You can see the link to huge infrastructure investments, things like NEO. The UAE is also a key player. Strong CGR there, nearly 7.9%, reflects its focus on high-end commercial tourism development, where advanced lighting is almost standard now.
Right, the visual aspect is huge there too.
Exactly. And Turkey, Egypt, Qatar, all showing solid growth as well, contributing to the regional shift.
Okay, finally, let's round out the global picture. Africa. What's the growth story for LED lighting on the continent?
Africa's LED market
Yeah.
started about $1 billion in 2021. It's projected to reach over $2.6 billion by 2033, so more than doubling. The CAGR is about 6.7%. Now, that is the lowest regional CAGR we've looked at,
Okay.
but it's still significant expansion, remember. And it really highlights the huge untapped potential there. Growth is driven by increasing access to electricity in many areas, urbanization, and the immediate cost savings from LEDs, which is, well, crucial for developing economies.
And where is that potential starting to show most clearly?
Nigeria and South Africa are the leaders. They're the continent's largest economies, driving adoption. Nigeria projected over $500 million, South Africa nearing $7.9 billion by 2033. And the rest of Africa segment also shows healthy growth, actually slightly higher than the regional average, at over 7% CAGR. It suggests adoption is spreading beyond the biggest players as infrastructure develops and the benefits become clearer.
Wow, okay. So we've literally gone around the world, billions of dollars, decades of projections. It really paints a picture, doesn't it? This LED lamp market isn't just growing, it's fundamentally transforming how we light everything, everywhere. It's just fascinating to see the sheer scale and speed of this shift in what used to seem like such a basic everyday thing.
Exactly, and when you connect all those regional stories back to the big picture, it becomes really clear that this huge global expansion boils down to essentially three interconnected drivers. You've got ambitious sustainability goals pushing policy.
Right, like in Europe.
Precisely. Then there's the constant technological advancement, LEDs getting better, cheaper, smarter, and finally supportive regulations and government incentives pretty much everywhere, speeding things up. As we saw from Europe's mandates to India just leapfrogging tech, these factors work together. It really is a global transformation in progress.
Which really makes you think, and this is maybe a question for you listening. Given these huge shifts, these growth rates we've talked about, how might this widespread LED adoption change things beyond just, well, illumination? Could it fundamentally alter energy consumption patterns globally? What about smart home integration? Or even how we design cities in the next decade? What other innovations might be hiding within these numbers beyond just brighter lights?
Yeah, it's a great point. It's clearly not just about a simple lamp anymore, is it? It touches on creating smarter, much more efficient, maybe even healthier environments for all of us.
Exactly. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the global LED lamp market. We hope you take these insights away and maybe look at the lights around you a little differently. Welcome to the Depth Dive. Today, we're shedding some light on a sector that's genuinely changing how we see everything: the global LED lamp market. We'll be exploring the forces shaping this industry, maybe uncovering some surprising facts and giving you the essential insights, what it all means for your home, the office, our cities. And these insights, they're powered by some really thorough research from cognitive market research. So our mission for you listening in is to really get a handle on the dynamics, the drivers, the challenges, what's illuminating this critical sector, and maybe what's dimming the lights a bit too.
Exactly. And it's fascinating because this isn't just about light bulbs, is it? It's a real window into global policy changes, big economic shifts, and frankly, some relentless tech innovation. That light above you, it's kind of a product of all these huge, often invisible forces.
Okay, let's unpack this then. What are the main things really propelling the LED lamp market forward so fast? What's the engine here?
Well, one of the biggest drivers, maybe the biggest, is the global phase out of the old inefficient lighting. Incandescent halogen bulbs,
Yeah.
governments, pretty much worldwide, Europe with its ERP directive, North America, Asia, they're actually mandating the switch. It's not just a suggestion. Laws are requiring energy-efficient replacements.
Mm.
And LEDs, they're the clear winner, the most effective solution right now.
Right, so that's a strong push from the top down, but it's not just about mandates, is it? There's got to be a pull factor, too, a big economic reason for people and companies to switch.
Oh, absolutely. The economic argument for LEDs is, well, it's genuinely transformative. Get this. LED lamps use up to 85% less energy than the old incandescent ones, and they last maybe 25 times longer, sometimes even more. That translates directly into, real significant savings, lower electricity bills, way fewer replacements. For a homeowner, it's noticeable. But imagine a big office building or a whole city managing streetlights. The savings are just enormous, huge budget items.
And I suppose it's not only about personal savings, right? Aren't there programs out there helping people make that initial jump?
That's a really crucial piece, yeah. A major accelerator has been all the government and utility incentive programs you see globally. Things like rebates,
Yeah.
subsidies. They're designed specifically to help with that higher upfront cost of LEDs. Makes it easier for regular consumers, but also for big commercial projects to adopt the tech faster. These programs have been super effective.
Okay, so it sounds like a pretty bright future overall. You've got policy pushing, economics pulling, but, every market hits bumps in the road. What are the main hurdles, the dim spots for LEDs right now?
Yeah, despite all the progress, and prices has come down a lot, there are still key restraints. First one, it's still that higher initial cost. Even with drops, they are more expensive upfront than the old bulbs. For some people, cost-sensitive consumers or projects with tight budgets, that's still a barrier, a
Yeah.
real hurdle.
I can definitely see that, especially if you're replacing, say, every single light in an older house or a whole office floor. What else is holding things back a bit?
Then there's the issue of product quality. It can be inconsistent.
Yeah.
You've got so many manufacturers now, lots of new players, and the quality just varies wildly sometimes. So people run into problems, right? Like colors not matching, flickering, dimmers not working properly, bulbs failing way too soon. And when that happens, it really damages trust in the technology itself. It's a big problem. And one more thing, in developed regions, places like North America, Western Europe, we're hitting market saturation. LED adoption is already really high, so the market's shifting. It's less about quickly replacing old bulbs and more about the slower cycle of replacing existing LEDs when they eventually wear out.
Those are definitely real challenges. But despite that, the innovation side isn't exactly standing still. What are some exciting trends lighting up the next phase for LEDs?
Oh, the innovation is moving fast. What's truly fascinating now is the explosion in smart and connected lighting. This part of the market is growing incredibly quickly, like over 20% CAGR. That's way faster than traditional lighting. We're talking systems you control with your voice or through smartphone apps, fully programmable lighting. LEDs are becoming, more than just light sources. They're key intelligent parts of smart homes, smart buildings, really central to how we interact with our tech environment.
And it's not only about making homes smarter, is it? It's also about how the light itself actually affects us as people.
Precisely. That's a huge area, human-centric lighting. It's really taking off, especially in workplaces, commercial spaces. These systems use tunable white LEDs. That means they can change the color, temperature, and the brightness during the day. The idea is to match our natural body clock, our circadian rhythms, and studies suggest this can really help with mood, focus, productivity. It's designing light for people, not just for seeing.
That's interesting. And for those of us who care about, well, how things look, there's that trend blending the old and new, right?
Absolutely, yeah. The LED filament bulbs are still super popular. They're cleverly designed to look just like those old vintage Edison bulbs, that classic warm glow. Very nostalgic. But under the hood, they've got all the modern LED benefits, low energy use, long life. So they really appeal to people who want that style, but also the efficiency. Best of both worlds, kind of.
Okay, let's zoom out a bit now. We're talking about a global market, and global events, especially politics and economics, must have a huge impact. What's the geopolitical situation doing to this sector?
Well, the big thing recently has been the talk around the 2025 reintroduction of tariffs, President Trump's proposed Liberation Day tariffs. These could be really significant. We're talking potential tariffs up to, say, 46% on some goods from Vietnam, 34% on Chinese imports. This hits the whole electronics and electrical sector hard, raising production costs. And LED lamps. They rely heavily on components from Asia, so they're right in the firing line. It really forces companies to ask, how do we navigate this? How do we adapt to such major shifts?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? So how is the industry responding? What are companies actually doing about these tariffs and the supply chain headaches they cause?
Well, the immediate effects are pretty clear. Supply chains get disrupted, input costs go up, and eventually prices for consumers rise too. So companies are basically rethinking their entire global sourcing game plan. That means actively looking to move production, maybe to India, Mexico, even back to Vietnam, but carefully, or redesigning products to use fewer tariff-affected parts. You see big players like Apple and Dell in the broader electronic space investing a lot in diversifying where they make things, using smarter digital tools to manage their supply chains. It's not just a quick fix. It's a real strategic shift towards building more resilient supply networks. And this is where good market research, like the cognitive market research data we're drawing on, becomes absolutely essential. It gives companies the insights they need on suppliers, pricing, policy impacts, helps them make those tough decisions.
Wow. So it's clear the global LED lamp market is, well, incredibly dynamic, constantly evolving. You've got these powerful drivers like global policies, amazing tech advancements, changing consumer tastes, pushing it forward. But at the same time, it's grappling with real challenges, cost hurdles, intense competition, quality issues, and these big, unpredictable geopolitical risks forcing major strategic changes.
Absolutely. And maybe a final thought for our listeners. If you connect all this back, think about the light in your room right now. It's not just a simple fixture, is it? It's really a tangible result of global economic policy, cutting-edge tech innovation, even those geopolitical tensions playing out thousands of miles away. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? What unseen forces are shaping all the everyday objects around us? Puts things in perspective.
That really does. A powerful way to think about it. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. We hope you keep exploring these fascinating links between technology, economics, and policy in your own world.